in Africa has commended the armed forces and other security agencies for the fight against Boko Haram insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, militancy, piracy, sea robbery, oil thefts, bunkering, human trafficking, drug trafficking, and abuse, amongst others. This was disclosed during a mid-year report on the federal government war against insecurity, insurgency in Nigeria by the association in Abuja. Addressing pressmen, Executive Director Bolaji Princess said that considerable successes have been recorded by the joint security efforts towards tackling insecurity in Nigeria. However, Ajibola stressed that there is still need for more effort if insecurity, crime and criminality are to be wiped out of the country.
These security threats have continued to evolve with a mix of ethnic and religious complexities, thus making it difficult to manage and contain. Because the Federal Republic of Nigeria is committed to the ideals of freedom, equality, and justice, and considers the sanctity of life more paramount, it is committed to ensuring that the Nigerian state is built upon positive values: the rule of law, respect for human and minority rights. The government strives to create and enabling a peaceful and secure environment for the Nigerian people. This is contained in the Nigerian National Security Strategy of year 2019. The preservation of our sovereignty, territorial integrity, security, and the welfare of the Nigerian people is paramount and cannot for any reason be compromised. For this reason, the government has taken measures to tackle insecurity in whatever form and shape that it presents itself in its bid to ensure that the country is peaceful, secure, and habitable, which will enhance the economic potential for the growth and development of the Nigerian state. Therefore, analyzing how the state has fared in addressing the myriad of security threats and challenges bedeviling the state is the focus of this report. An overview of the security situations in the 6 geopolitical zones. While some of the security threats faced by the country are generic, some are linked to the country's 6 geopolitical zones. Thus, it is peculiar to the various zones. No matter its nature, dimension, complexity, and linkage, these threats have implications for national security. You will all agree that that is the situation right now. It is imperative to highlight some of these threats by analyzing the security situation of the various geopolitical zones in the country. So for that, we start with the North Central Zone. Of course, the FCT is part of the North Central Zone. Farmers-herders conflict, as well as kidnappings by suspected Fulani herdsmen, is the major threat faced by the people of this zone, especially Benue and Plateau states. More so, ethnic divide and religious-based crises are peculiar to Jos, as the area has experienced several religious-based crises and attacks by suspected Fulani herdsmen. The implication of this threat has been a severe reduction in the output of food production to the nation, especially in Benue State, the food basket of Nigeria, where people have been forced out of their farms due to the menace of the killer herders. However, the security situation of the zone is improving. There has not been any recent news so far of farmers-herders clashes or any religious premeditated killings and attacks. So from the North Central Zone, we move to the Northeast. The Northeast, which has been almost badly battered, geopolitical zone, has continued to grapple with the activities of the Boko Haram terrorists and insurgents. The deadly sect displaced thousands from their homes, killed and maimed our own security agents and civilians, including killing and raping women and children. These people were chased away from their farms and sources of livelihood and collected taxes and almost took over territories. These acts left mothers wailing, fathers mourning, brothers confused, sisters speechless. Today, the Nigerian military is severely dealing with the Boko Haram terrorists and insurgents, which have carried out severe assaults and offensive against the sect. The sect has not been completely neutralized, please note that. However, before now, the peace that eluded the Northeast appears to have returned. So we move to the Northwest. The Northwest geopolitical zone is faced with the issue of banditry and kidnapping for ransom, which go hand in hand. You kidnap, you ask for money. They don't give you money, you kill. And cattle rustling. These threats were before now on the high side, especially with the Kaduna-Abuja road being almost impassable, with almost daily cases of kidnapping. Of course, one of my friends was also kidnapped on that road, but released after 3 months. Even the Kaduna-Abuja train was not spared with the trend. Some train attack victims are still in custody, even as we are here today, of the kidnappers or bandits. No state in the Northwest zone has not had its fair share of these menaces. And so from the Northwest, we move to the Southeast. The Southeast is particularly worrisome because since the end of the Nigerian Civil War, the Southeast zone was the country's most peaceful zone and remained so for a very, very long time. Over time, however, the peace the zone enjoyed disappeared with the return of separatist agitations by some elements from the zone under the aegis of Masab and IPOB. Thus, the clamor for establishing a Biafran state out of Nigeria and farmers-herders conflicts combined to polarize the zone. There have also been cases of kidnapping for ransom and gruesome killings by criminal elements considered both indigenous and external to the zone, which means they came from the outside of that zone. It is argued that yet to be identified criminals have infiltrated the zone. One of these laid the foundation for the emergence of unknown gunmen nomenclature and their ominous activities and killings. With the imposed Monday sit-at-home order in the Southeast by non-state actors, the once most peaceful zone in the country is now about one of the most insecure in the country. Very pathetic. And then we move to the Southwest zone. The Southwest zone could be said to have been experiencing the activities of the Fulani herdsmen majorly alongside general insecurity, as is in the country. The people complained, and good complaint for that matter, that their forests and farms were occupied by Fulani herdsmen who were destroying their farms, raping their women, very pathetic, and children, and killing people. The most recent attack on the area was the Owo Catholic Church Sunday attack, which left many people dead and injured, innocent people. Lives just cut short like that, in their prime. Since the Owo attack, the zone has also experienced relative calmness. The question of insecurity in the area is reducing as there are no other records of such attacks. Implied, security in the Southwest, like in other zones, could be better. So from the Southwest zone, we're cruising to the South-South zone. Since the introduction of the Presidential Amnesty Program, the South-South geopolitical zone has remained better than it was before the amnesty in 2009. However, the amnesty program did not address insecurity in the zone. Thus, there have still been cases of militant activities and agitations by pockets of emergent militant groups. As a result, pipeline and oil facilities vandalization, oil theft, and illegal oil bunkering and refining, militancy, piracy, and sea robbery, among others, is the bane of that zone. As such, security in the area cannot be compared to the pre-amnesty period. It has continued to improve.
Amina Ibrahim, GTV Africa.